Good morning. Bibby's not even on the screen. There we go again. That's what happens when you just exchanging links in the pre-show. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. Your clocks are wrong. It is 10 a.m. ish. It's not. It's 11:15. But we do say ish. Today was a big ish because we had someone looking at my bog. Where we made the mistake of ripping out our downstairs toilet. Yes, we have a downstairs toilet. It sounds posh. We had made the mistake of ripping all that out, and then lockdown started, so we had like a destroyed room, and now we've had someone looking at fitting that. So obviously things are a bit delayed. But anyway, good morning. If you are in the chat, please feel free to know. Please feel free to say hello. That's what I meant to say. My name is Graham Day, and this man in the matching Ice Cream Uploads esports jersey is the man that we call Harriet. Harriet Pet.
I'm just looking at videos of Bernardo Silva not giving a shit.
Bernardo Silva
beating them Scouse bastards yesterday 4-0. I mean, it's far too late for us to even, put scores like that in, but winning 4-0 at home, not in front of fans, but Bernardo Silva giving the least arsed guard of honour I've ever seen in my life made my night last night.
I mean, beat them now, so doesn't that make you champions now? That's how boxing.
That's how it works, isn't it?
MMA works. So is that not how sport works? I think that's. I mean, it shows that sad state of affairs when a Man United fan is wanting a Man City fan to take the title away from Liverpool.
It was like knockout Wembley. Do you know what I mean? It's like first to 4 goals wins, and that's exactly what we did. Scored 4 goals, we won the Premier League.
Good morning, Asim, who says, "I heard that the game was winner takes Premier League. Huge if true."
I think so too.
Next goal wins. Runs off with a trophy.
Well, it's winner stays on, so technically we are champions.
Unlucky. But anyway, welcome in, everyone. For those of you that don't know, as the badges on our esports jerseys say, we are Ice Cream Uploads, and together, I am Graham, this is but together we are Ice Cream Uploads. That's what I was trying to say. Got that eventually. And in true ice creamy fashion, this is the scoop. Some may say this is the world's, not even the UK's, but the world's #1 video game podcast. I mean, we are the people that say that, but still, you can say it as well if you want, because this goes live on Twitch at 10 a.m. ish, and it's a big ish each and every single weekday on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. And if you are in the chat with us live on Twitch, please feel free to use the voice that you have, use the buttons that you have, use the exclusive emotes if you're a subscriber to Ice Cream Uploads in the chat. Feel free to do that. And it's important that you do, because we turn this into a YouTube video and an audio podcast that goes on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play later on today. Everyone on demand doesn't have the ability to use their voice in the chat right here, right now, live within the show, like you guys do. So do that on behalf of everyone else. Do it. Do it. Do it now. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. No, I'm joking after, but do it. Do it. Do it. Anyway, did you go golfing yesterday, babe? You had some weather for it. Did you use it?
I actually did. Yes, I did. Look, it was 4 o'clock tea time. Left. Actually had a really good round yesterday. Broke 100 again, which I was really happy with, because the day before, Wednesday, I had an absolute fucking stinker. So I was super pissed about that. But yesterday, played really well. Beat Samantha's dad, my father-in-law, which is always nice. And then watched Man City win the league.
Yoink. I streamed PUBG, and people saw. Me and Jordan had a mediocre day until the very last game when we finally got some chicken chops.
Oh, I was meant to ask you as well. You said that he was going to watch Gotham. I know this is like way off thing, but did you actually watch an episode of Gotham yesterday?
I watched 3 or 4. No, I think we watched 3 episodes last night.
Thoughts?
I know what turned me off it the first time. There's particularly in the pilot episode, there is a lot of over the top cheesy acting, and I think it's trying to establish characters. Like the guy who plays the Penguin, he's quite intense, like his acting. But in other scenes, it looks okay. But some of it was just like really cheesy, like trying to build the like whatever Jim Gordon's partner's called, trying to build him as like this sort of like cliche, reckless sort of I don't give a fuck police officer kind of, and it was just cheddar. And I remember watching it, going, this is why am I watching this? This is bad. So we gave up after 1 episode. Anyway, 2-3 episodes, and it's starting to bed in. It's almost like they didn't really. I mean, this is obviously the very first episode, the pilot, the start of 5 seasons. It's almost like they don't really know where they're taking the characters. But even by just 2 or 3 episodes in, they've got an idea of what they're doing with it. So
Yeah,
it's a good watch. It's a good watch. It's a very easy watch, like watching Arrow or Flash or something like that. In terms of it's obviously a bit grittier than that. It's not quite as gritty as Daredevil was on Netflix or things like that. But it's a watch. We're going to continue with it. We're going to keep going.
good. You can tell though, like you say with Harvey Bullock and stuff like that. It's weird, but I understand what you mean with the over the acting because I first watched it when it was on Channel 5 and I thought this is 110% a Channel 5 thing.
Yeah.
Like it's just if it doesn't feel right, and then I think it ended up going on to like Sky One or something. But as the seasons go, it gets a lot more darker and a lot more gritty, and it does feel a lot better to watch than over the top. But yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Even like Jada Pinkett, like some of her scenes, like in the first episode versus like the third episode, and she's like, "I'm better," so it's like we get it. You don't
Yeah.
have to be that much, but then she kind of like eases off it a bit, and it was like everyone was like, "This pilot, so we've got to give 150%," and it's like, no, you don't just give 100 because that's perfect. Just chill out. But yeah, watch with it. Watch a few more, and it's been pretty good. So we're going to continue. Good morning, Mr. Chucky Boy. How the devil are you, you
Morning.
beautiful man? Ripping that VIP badge, I see. As always. I mean, you have not church, it will always be there. We will force it. I mean, obviously, you can change it, but don't. Anyway, Lewis Tonks, you're 20 points behind us, to be honest. No. They won the league. Yes, I mean, it was one of stays on. Good morning,
Yeah.
Lewis. How you doing? Let's jump into the news today. When you're playing pairs, straight after this, we're going to try fly through this. We've only been live for 12 minutes, but we usually go live with with Masters of the League at 12 noon, which is 35 minutes away. So we're going to have to fly through this. So it might be a shorter episode of the Scoop today because of the late start and so on. But we will fly through things anyway. So yeah, 12 noon-ish. Bear in mind, we started this show at 10 a.m.-ish. so 12 noon-ish. First news of the day. You could probably predict it after it was launched yesterday, but Hyperscape is the focus of the first story. As Andy Robinson from VGC says, Ubisoft's new battle royale is already Twitch's most watched game. Hyperscape is officially announced with technical test. Updated. Okay, there we go. Ubisoft has officially announced its battle royale game Hyperscape following a round of teasers earlier this week. I keep calling it Hyperspace as well, by the way.
I keep
Hyperscape.
on calling it hyperspace.
Hyperscape is described as the first battle royale built exclusively for Twitch, with viewers able to vote for in-game events and view player stats and loadouts right from their browsers. The Assassin's Creed publisher launched a technical test on Thursday with access granted via Twitch drops for watching streams of the game. Where have we heard that before? Just like the hugely successful launches of Valorant and Apex Legends. Ubisoft has invited hundreds of streamers and pro players to debut Hyperscape on their platforms, and so far the strategy has been successful. At the time of publishing, the shooter is the most watched game on the Amazon-owned streaming platform with almost 500,000 viewers. Hyperscape is a free-to-play 100-player FPS set in a futuristic urban environment. 3-player squads and solo players can dive into the futuristic virtual city of Neo Arcadia to engage in dynamic firefights, quickly transitioning from narrow streets to open rooftops. Hyperscape introduces hacks, abilities that players can loot in the world, which grant offensive and defensive capabilities such as laying down a mine, seeking an enemy, protecting the squad with a big wall, or turning invisible. All hacks and weapons can be upgraded. Hyperscape also innovates within the genre with features such as Decay, which dissolves the map of Neo Arcadia into different patterns, or the Echo mechanic that keeps players active in the battle even when they're down. At the end of a Hyperscape match, the showdown phase starts when the Hyperscape crown spawns on the map. Players have 2 different ways to claim victory, either by picking up the crown and carrying it for 45 seconds, or by being the last player or squad standing. According to an earlier report, the game will launch for both PC and consoles, with the latter set to arrive later this year and support cross-platform play. Hyperscape is expected to open beta on July the 12th. Everyone in the chat, let me jump into split screen actually 1 sec. There we go. Everyone in the chat as well as Bib. What are your thoughts? I mean, I know what I think. What do you think, Bib?
Well, I'm just watching the trailer. I didn't get to see much of it yesterday, as mentioned before. I was out playing golf, and then I ended up watching City. But so I didn't get to see much of it. However, I'm watching the trailer. Can you see the trailer that's in the article?
No. Oh
I'm
yes.
watching the trailer, right? Watch the first. Well, I say watch the first. The way that it's been chopped, changed, and the music that it uses, it looks like the person who makes
Fast-paced
Doctor
battle royale
Disrespect's
that brings
highlight reels
verticality
has
to the
made
next
this.
level.
Well, he's
It's
out of work at the moment, so
In Hyperscape,
it's
up
so
to
weird
100 players
watching
will
this because it
compete in
looks
a
like I'm
variety
watching
of
a
game
Doctor
modes.
Disrespect montage
Squad and
without
solo
his
Crowd
face being
Rush
on the
are the
screen.
main modes where battle royale
Um,
champions are
but again,
crowned.
the trailer looks great. The gameplay overview trailer, it looks great.
Neo
Um,
Arcadia is a
I probably
virtual,
will give this a
shimmering
go.
city
Is this only on
designed to...
PC? As it coming
uh,
to
it,
PC and consoles as well.
yeah, consoles with crossplay later on in the year.
Yeah,
towers
you
to
see, I probably will try and play this on PC, see whether or not my PC can actually play it. It's been a while since I've upgraded anything on this PC, so it probably will die a very, very, very grisly death. So it may be a console game, but yeah, I do like the look of it. If I'm being honest, it looks. Uh, I'm trying to think of how it plays. It like you said, I think you said it's like a hybrid between Apex and something else. I can't remember what it was.
I said it's got Fortnite elements in it, but yeah,
Mm,
it was definitely Apex. The verticality of it is definitely kind of reminiscent of Fortnite. It's very much Apex led for me in terms of the art style, the heads-up display, the digital sort of feel to it. Obviously, it is the whole thing is digitalized. The maps are digitalized,
mhm.
the players are digitalized, so that kind of ties with it. So it's the taking the digital element from Apex, but added more, even more to that, which some people will really like. I tweeted last night that I just wasn't getting it. Maybe it was because I didn't really understand what was happening.
Yeah.
Um, it's there is some good sounding stuff to it. So I'm one thing I'm not a big fan of, which a lot of people are, and it's a very modern element, is verticality in video games. Um, I like, and I've mentioned it a million times, boots on the ground. I want
Mhm.
a battle of like stuff that I can see in the realm of reality. Um, but to an extent, obviously, there's a bit of fantasy with every sort of game, but I don't like building ramps out of nowhere, flying up into the skies like Fortnite. I mean, I like it when I'm in it, but there's a reason why it's not my first played game, and this kind of combats that with these like yellow, almost like boost little um, spots, whatever you call them, on the floor. You basically step on that and it fires you up into the air, so you can land on
Mhm.
rooftops. There's no fall damage, so it's all about getting up, getting high, moving around really fast. Um, I'm gonna kill the trailer now 'cause it's just distracting me. So yeah, that verticality of it, a lot of people do like. I'm not a fan of it. I want a shootout, not a game of repositioning. Because Fortnite, like the analogy that I heard that stuck with me for Fortnite is when you first start, it's 70 to 80% gunplay and then 20 to 30% building. Um, but then when you get really into it and you want to become really good, it's a complete reversal. 80% of your game is building, 20% of your game is gunplay because you build yourself into an advantage to take the shot. Um, which is an art form. Don't get me wrong, there's
Mhm.
talent there, but it's not the art form that I want to get good at. I want to get good at the outmaneuvering on the ground. I want to do a forward diving roll into a backflip with a shot to the face, not run up a
Yeah.
wall and spin around off the background and so on. So anyway, I started watching it. And the map decaying that's mentioned in there is pretty cool in terms of most games. It's like, oh, here's a circle of blue storm, or here's a circle of gas, or here's fire, or whatever that's just closing in. Whereas this has essentially um, it's a world made of different sort of sections, like on a map. But there is another game that does it. Is that Ring of Elysium? I can't remember which one it is. There's basically certain sections of the map just get like these are written off now. And this kind of has that. Different areas of the map will just be okay. This area of this digital world is starting to decay, and you can see it decaying around you. It goes from a vibrant city that something like you would see in Apex Legends to something like something you'd see in the TV series Reboot, which was a Catwoman series. Was probably I'm probably the only one old enough to remember in this
Yeah.
chat, maybe not. But it's kind of it almost looks like Reboot is starting to downgrade, starting all the colors starting to go out, everything becomes pixelated and then becomes fragmented, and you don't start taking damage in that area until it's fully decayed, and then it starts to kill you. So that's kind of like a digital signifier. Get the fuck out of here, which is nice. I like that. But like just didn't understand. It was kind of like you're dead and then you're not dead, and there is definitely a huge warning, incoming game. Exactly, reboot. There we go. There is there's definitely something in this reboot mechanic. Fortnite has reboots now. Apex has respawns. Warzone has multiple ways of being rebooted into a game. This has rebooting into a game. There is a lot to that in terms of keeping players in the game and keeping the fun. And you don't get the anger that you'd get if you're playing PUBG and you have to sit there and watch your friends, or they all have to quit out and join you. Excuse me. But I'd say the best thing about this game is the fact that if you're dead, you can still provide help to your teammates. You are there as almost like a ghost that can't be seen, running around on the floor. You can see the action, you can see the enemies, you can still mark people and go, there's someone here. You just can't provide any actual fire support or target support or work towards the goal other than just providing intel, which I quite like that. But
it still keeps you in the game. It's not a fact of you're out the game, you can put the pad down and go away now. It's like when you're in the gulag with your mates and you see your mates down the bottom and you're giving directions and he's
It's on the left.
Left, no, right, no, right, no, fucking left.
No, never mind.
Yeah, you're dead. Unlucky. See you in the next game.
So I like that. The only thing was, I tuned into a stream yesterday and I was watching that and had no idea what was happening. And it didn't. There was no kind of clear like information. Like if you die in COD and you're going in the gulag, you're off to the gulag, and then you get dragged into it, and then you wake up in prison, and it all kind of makes sense. Whereas this was just like you're dead, and all of a sudden you see through, and it's like, am I dead? What's happening? And the way you get respawned is your teammates. It's almost kind of like a life for a life. They kill someone and drop a triangle on the floor. And if you stand on their triangle, that can be used once as a reboot spot. So if you kill someone, you can use their life to bring you back into the game, essentially. Which is a cool mechanic, but it was kind of didn't get it. I didn't really know what was happening, so that kind of confused the hell out of it. When that started to make sense, I was thinking, okay. I mean, I'm still not a fan of this verticality, and I'd rather have bullets than laser guns. But fair enough. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, and then I stuck with it because I wanted to see someone win a game, and I didn't. I didn't see anyone win a game because I'd given up on it by that point. I'd watched it for a couple of hours, and everyone just kind of like either got melted because nobody really understood it, and they're all trying to figure it out together. But then when they get down to this bit that they've talked about the crown, that just completely sent me west. I was like, what the feck is happening here? It was kind of like finished on this almost like a town hall sort of building, which was probably not the best environment for it anyway. And there was kind of like 8 people left. Teams of 3s and so on. So there's probably 3, 4, maybe 5 teams left, depending on how many people actually were there. And it was a case of they're all kind of like looking to shoot each other to death. But then these things like get the crown, and it's like someone gets this crown, which turns the game from a battle royale into kind of a battle royale meets team deathmatch meets to the flag. It was kind of everyone's kind of like killing each other or not. So. Yeah, the best thing I can use to explain it is the gulag. When you're in the gulag and you and your teammate are just dancing around for so long that the flag pops up in the middle and you have to get into that and hold that for a few seconds and you win the game. It's kind of like that, but drawn out. So, but you could have a fucking million people in there. All one person has to do is get the flag and hide, and just not get into a fight. Or what you do is you just stand back and let everyone else fight for the flag, and then you just kill them and be the last ones to get the flag. Job's good. Overall, the game looks okay. It looks reasonably it looks very well polished. It looks reasonably well balanced. All I could see was people just getting shot for days. The thing about Battle Royale is the risk. Like if you step out into the open, you can get dead. Because most Battle Royales have a reasonably high TTK, time to kill. If you make a mistake, dead. Whereas this, people were making mistakes and on mistakes, and just getting it was kind of like The Mask, where he's like dancing around all the bullets and they're all missing him. Or Ali G and they're bulleting around him. Apart from every single one of these bullets hitting their targets, they're just like sponges. Because you start off with guns and all your guns are level 1. And then if you find the same gun again, you can upgrade it to level 2, which does more damage. And if you find the same gun again, 3, 4, and 5. And if you get to level 5, your gun's like pow, pow, pow. Which just means in the early game, they're all just kind of like slap and tickle kits with each other. Oh, no, you're not dead. And it's just like, so yeah, I mean, it's a good game. I can see on the surface, it's been well thought through. the idea that they built it for Twitch is a completely different angle, although they have just kind of like used the Valorant mechanic. But having Twitch audiences interacting with the game, I didn't see any of that yesterday. But I mean, all of that looks like it could be decent. It could build up towards something. But despite all of that, it just doesn't look like it's for me. It just doesn't look like it's for me whatsoever. Jumping back into the chat, Asim says, I watched a bit of this. I like the Twitch integration that impacts gravity and more, but it just looks way too hectic for me personally. I had no idea what was going on. Yeah, I think I'd probably say exactly the same game. Lewis Tonk says, never heard of the game to be honest. It looks like a remake of Overwatch. It's actually quite different from Overwatch. I'd say it's very much Apex Legends, but a bit more digital, if that makes sense. A digital theme rather than it's digital. It's video game. Of course, it's digital. But yeah, I think it's kind of more that sort of point. But I see where you're coming from, definitely. Asif says maybe at 35, I'm too old for this. No, that feeling. Hyperscape looks weird. It looks great so far, but when you spawn on someone, it takes 5 seconds to revive. Michael Kent live. Good morning. What's up from Ohio, USA? Well, I say good morning. Is that like in Ohio? That's like very early morning / late for you, isn't that right? I think so. But anyway, good morning. Welcome in. Well, good morning from the UK.
Morning.
Yeah. What? I mean, have you seen any of this being played, babe?
No, the first thing I've seen, it's like I've had my head buried in the sand. First thing I've seen was the trailer that I watched like 5-10 minutes ago. It looks like a game that I would like to play just to get a hold of what. It's the newest battle royale that there is out there, so they've got to be doing stuff differently than the others are. And by the looks of the trailer, it looks like they are. I'm very much in the same camp as you are. I don't like wall running. I don't like high jumping. I don't like
Double jumping.
going into a map.
It has double jumping as well. It does have double jumping.
Yeah. There was one part of the trailer where I seen when someone turned into like a giant metal ball and then fly in the sky. I don't particularly like stuff like that. I'm very much boots on the ground. I want to see something like Borderlands, like something like that, where it is futuristic or it's apocalyptic or something like that, just in a battle royale setting. I don't want the double jumps and things like that. I don't understand why we can't have a futuristic battle royale that doesn't involve those things, because as soon as you think futuristic, I don't know why, it just seems to be in video games. You think 60, 70, 100 years into the future, everyone could double jump. I don't want stuff like that. It's the same way that I didn't like the way that Call of Duty went with like Infinite Warfare, where you wall running and
In
whatever.
exosuits and
Yeah, I don't like that shit. Just give me a boots on the ground battle royale in the future. I don't care if it's got laser guns. I don't care if it's got pulse rifles. I'm not asked about all of that stuff. I'm more than happy to use those guns. I just don't understand why they want to have exosuits and double jumping, wall running, things like that. That instantly turns me off of wanting to play games like that.
What if in 100 years nobody has knees anymore?
Well, there we go. Wheelchair royale. That's it. That's what we can have.
Either that or
Everyone's in a
everyone
wheelchair.
running around like penguins because their legs no longer bend. They're just kind of like.
Not even single jumps. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I was having this conversation with Daniel yesterday. I was saying, I just really double jumps annoy me. I was like, because you watch someone, they'll be on a building, and you can see the buildings on the other side of the street, and it's like you're never going to make that jump. They go, and it's like, why can you jump off of nothing in thin air? Why is that possible? And if that is possible, why can you only do it once? If you've just jumped off of nothing in thin air, why don't you just do it again? Just keep going.
Well, the double jump mechanic in most games, when you press spacebar once, that's your normal jump.
And then it's
like
flip.
that's like your foot off the floor jump. When you go to do a double jump in games and you press the spacebar again, if you're playing on PC, you can keep hold of it and then change the trajectory of your jump. I don't like that. If you're gonna double jump, it should just be one level. So you'll jump 1 foot and then your second jump will be 3 foot off the ground, rather than it fluctuating between 2 and 7 foot or something like that. Because you can't. I mean, this is making me just sound like it should be a lot easier than it is, but you can't tell people's patterns. Like in PUBG, the reason you play that is because you know the patterns. You know, like where if I throw my grenade, it's going to go that far to the absolute limit that I can go. Like it's very fixated on the patterns of the game. You can't go outside of the patterns of the game. Whereas things like futuristic stuff where you can wall run, jump off buildings, no fall damage and stuff like that. There's so many other things that are going on. I just want boots on the ground with a futuristic element. I don't think that's that hard to do, because I don't think anybody's done it yet. I mean, Ring of Elysium, I think is probably the closest we'll get to that.
I think the closest
Um,
we've been, not in a battle royale, but the closest we've been in a shooter, and it's one that I actually really enjoyed, is Star Wars Battlefront. I mean, obviously, forget Jedi's and forget your Boba Fett's and things like that, or Boba Fett's. Forget any of that sort of stuff, and you just go with your stormtroopers or whatever. Then you've got lasers, and you've got blasters, and you've got all that sort of stuff. See, I've got no issue with that because that's all done within a nice style. My issue is when you start to get everyone using like futuristic laser cannons. Is they all have like the whole screen becomes one laser blast kind of thing rather than a pew 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 pew. And then when you hit like some sort of laser grenade, it's always big flashes and it's always over the top. As look how futuristic it is. It's like we know. Just tell us it's in the future, and we will understand that. You don't have to make everything be. I don't know if you saw that. It looked futuristic. I know. I saw it. Did you see that one? That one also. I know. We're in the future. What this one look? I know. We're in the future. I get it. I understand. I can tell because my guy hasn't touched the floor. He's jumped 17 times in a row. I know I'm in the future. Enix says I feel so upset today. Is that because of Hyperscape not being great? Nice. Fatman Dave, it seems like most sci-fi games try to be Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon with the jumping and flying. Yeah, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. The two don't have to go hand in hand. I think, like Bibb says, I don't understand why no one hasn't done it. And someone that does that will get the elements that people want. People downvoted, what was it, Infinite Warfare as the worst Call of Duty video of all time because it was released alongside.
People didn't want it.
Yeah, people wanted Modern Warfare. People aren't against the idea of Infinite Warfare. It went there because of reason, but they lost all of what got you there. COD 4s and the Black Ops and stuff like that. That's what provided the groundworks of, oh, we like this. Gunplay, yes. Realistic, yes. Oh, something a bit more realistic but still futuristic, yes. Okay, we're getting a bit more futuristic, less realistic, but I'll see where you go with it. Okay, realism's gone completely out the window. Fuck this shit, I'm out. And someone that captures that realism but captures that futurism as well at the same time. I think the first one that does that will have something on their hands. Maybe that's where Halo comes back in. But doesn't Halo have like double jumping stuff? I don't know.
They do. Yeah, I mean, they'll definitely get a customer in me. I want to have a cyberpunk world just with realistic elements, and I think don't take this as gospel, but I think that's why people are excited about the cyberpunk game. It doesn't, from what we've seen so far, it doesn't look like you're gonna have wall running and all that shit. I mean, I think they made I'm sure I read something this morning say that they've actually taken wall running out of the game because they wanted it to be more realistic. I'm sure I read that this morning. It might have been yesterday. But
can you hear the sirens here?
No.
Yes, RTX. I'm going to turn my RTX voice down a bit because it keeps going like skew so I didn't know whether you press it.
But something like a Metal Gear Solid Battle Royale, like Rock Pie says, it would be the longest Battle Royale time-wise, because the amount of stealthing that you'd have to do. The map would have to be smaller, I think. I think it would have to be probably a 50-person Battle Royale rather than 100, because the game would just go on for hours and hours. But that would be cool. Having a full stealth. That's another thing. We haven't had a full stealth Battle Royale yet, have we?
No. That's the thing. I mean, there's always the worst thing for any video game now that wants to take its spin on the Battle Royale is the internet. Despite Battle Royales being up there with the most played games ever, the internet loves to hate something that's successful. So now you go, this game that didn't have Battle Royale is now getting a Battle Royale mode, and everyone kind of rolls their eyes and goes, ugh, another one. Ugh. It's like, yeah, but everyone has multiplayer, team deathmatch. It's literally a mechanic within a game. It's not necessarily a complete standalone franchise. It's a mechanic within a game. So yeah, seeing different games have their spin on BI, it's quite good. I would like to see, like you say, Metal Gear, because it would, like you say, would rely on stealth. It's funny because all battle royales, almost universally now, if you're a snake in battle royale, you get hated for it. But that's literally what you will have to be in Metal Gear.
Well, that's it. Like I said, it would have to be a smaller map and shorter numbers, because that would just go on forever. Imagine the stealthing that you'd have to do on that, like all crouching, crawling under rocks and stuff like that. You would just be there forever. But I mean, you said when you win in PUBG, it feels like you've earned the win. I think if you was to win in a Metal Gear Solid Battle Royale, you would honestly feel like you're on top of the world coming out the other side of that one.
Sorry, you just be like the end from Metal Gear Solid 3. You just fall asleep and die.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was so old. I died in this battle. But continue without me. Anyway, Bib mentioned something there that I will use as a nice cheesy tangent. He mentioned Cyberpunk and, potentially that being the style of the future. Do you know, it's a game of the future because it's going to be out on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, as
Oh my
is NBA
That's-
2K21. Yeah, I told you, cheesy tangent.
I
Yeah.
can't believe you went down that route.
But
GG.
talking about going down routes, look at this for a route to go down. We will all be going down this route soon if this is a sign of things to come, as Andy Robinson of BGC report that the first priced PS5 and Xbox Series X game is set at $70 or £65. NBA 2K21 could suggest a next-gen game price increase. Did I or did I not say yesterday that the prices will go up for this gen, as they have done always? I did say that. Just saying. So the first next-gen price details could suggest higher pricing for the PS5 and Xbox Series X games. As reported by GamesIndustry.biz, a new 2K product summary for NBA 2K21 shows it will have a recommended price of $69.99 or £64.99 when it launches on PS5 and Xbox Series X this year, which is $10 more than the PS4 and Xbox One version, which has an RRP of $59.99, and that's in both pounds and dollars. It's the first suggestion that the next generation game console could price their games higher as development costs are expected to increase. In addition, NBA 2K21 will release a Kobe Bryant fronted Mamba Forever edition for $99.99 or £84.99, which will feature a host of extra digital content and include both generation versions within the same console family. Give me 1 second. Bacon Butty Bird, lovely. I'll come back to the image shortly. So the pricing follows comments from PlayStation US boss Sean Layden last week, in which he suggested that pricing might have to increase on next-gen consoles due to the increased expense of making games for them. Speaking during a wide-ranging panel at GameLab Live, Layden said he believes that the single most important reason why the AAA model is unsustainable is not escalating development costs, but game prices remaining relatively unchanged since the 80s. It's been $59.99 since I started in this business, but the cost of games have gone up 10 times, he explained. If you don't have elasticity on the price point, but you have huge volatility on the cost line, the model becomes more difficult. I think this generation is going to see those two imperatives collide. The former PlayStation exec who left Sony in 2019 after a 3-decade career also suggested that shorter games could help control development costs on PS5 and Xbox Series X. I'm going to stop there because it's not even talking about that anymore. So yes, the first price PS5 and Xbox Series X game is $70 and £65 if you're on this side of the pond. Bib,
Yes.
thoughts?
Well, the disgust in my voice when you read about the Kobe Bryant edition was I fucking knew this would happen. I knew they are. I hate this so much because they're using one of the icons of basketball to try and get more money out of people now that he's dead, and I fucking hate that. I thought for a nice thing. Imagine that doing a nice thing in the world. Why would they not have the Kobe Bryant edition as the standard edition and give you the chance to be able to use whatever it is that they're going to give you? I imagine it's his playable character in the game for the standard price, and have the cover art, the cover player of this current generation as the more expensive one. I knew for a fact that they would be putting him on the front cover and then charging through the arse to use his playable character in the game to try and profit off his death. That makes me fucking sick that they've done that.
Really, I'll sit back on screen. I'll remove discussing now so we can see. So all of them, well, not all of them, both the editions for each generation come out at the same time. So the current gen comes out September 4th, $59.99 USD, $99.99 USD. And then the next gen ones come out on holiday 2020, $69.99 and $99.99. And my team cross progression. Also, okay, so yeah, okay, you get cross generation progression. So if you get it on the PS4, you can continue on the PS5 in my team, and you shared wallet currency goes forward and so on.
I mean,
Yeah,
the cost of games going up. absolutely fine with that. Like, I think it's been going around Twitter. We've mentioned it before now. The cost of games hasn't gone up in such a long time. It'll go up the first year that the console comes out. So you'll be paying top dollar for new games. And then within 2 years, it normalizes. It goes back down to £45 to buy a brand new game, unless you're buying it directly on the store, which is always seems to hold the highest price. However, my beef is not with the game price going up. It's
Using
using and profiting off Kobe Bryant to get the top dollar for your premium version of the game. That does not sit well with me whatsoever.
Do you know what? I agree with that. I agree with that. Most people, I mean, I don't even know who Lillard is or Zion Williamson is. I know who Zion Williamson is now because when he was announced as cover star, is it Dame Lillard? Yeah, there you go. I know who he is now because I googled him after he was announced. Ta-da! There we go. I know he is. But yeah, I have no attachment to that. I know who Kobe Bryant is because I know everyone knows who Kobe Bryant is. Or knew, or not knows. Let's say knows. It sounds more respectful. Everyone knows who Kobe Bryant is, and even seeing him in the Last Dance the other day, that one kind of tickles my fancy a little bit more. So I would be interested in seeing that. But that's kind of the same sort of way as um, what was it? The Zidane edition of FIFA or something was the sort of like high priced one. I see where they're going for there. I agree. There is an element of cashing in on his reputation. If you want to support Kobe Bryant and get the Mamba Forever edition, yeah, it's going to cost you twice as much. I do think, yeah, that
It doesn't so well. If it was the Michael Jordan edition, he's still knocking about. Do you know what I mean? That's fine because he's a legend. He's still going to be in the game. But it seems to be the putting the guy that's on the tip of everybody's tongue at this moment in time, the legend of the sport that unfortunately he died earlier on this year. That it feels like they're profiting off his death. Do you know? Am I being daft here?
I mean, is that a mutually exclusive thing?
Yeah, well, I don't know. As soon as I saw this knocking about on Twitter, I thought, bastards. That was my initial thought because it seems to me that they're trying to profit off the Kobe name.
I mean, it's smart.
And
It is smart business sense. I mean, let's take the emotion out of it. It is smart business sense. It's a guy that has been in these games forever, and they have a standard edition, and then they have like the special edition. The business sense for them is to put one of the best basketball players that the world has ever known on the cover of the special edition because he was a special player. So there is logic to it from that perspective, but from a financial standpoint, he's this year will have a much bigger pull for people that are on the cusp of, do I buy it again? I've not bought it for a couple of years or whatever. Kobe Bryant will be on the cusp of bringing more people in. So putting that onto the special edition will obviously, from a business sense, guarantee much more revenue, which is good sound logic from the business point of view. But yeah, it depends. It depends which take you take from that. Is honoring him with the special edition like a statement of respect, or is honoring with them a special edition a statement of capitalism? And neither is right, neither is wrong. Both. I mean, obviously they'll know the reasons behind it, but there are positives and negatives to both sides of it. I think I can see that one. Chopper says that conversion rate sounds detrimental to UK bank accounts, especially then for Americans. I mean, to be fair, it's not as bad as it has been. Let's have a look. Well, there was a number in the article. Let me go back. So there was. There we go. So $69 to £64 is what we're looking at for the games. So they're not bang on. If you compare that to the current generation, $59 to £59. That's not a direct conversion. If you buy something in dollars for £59, you have change. But obviously, it's not exactly right. But it's better than it has been. So I mean, that's going in the right way. So we can take that. Sim says consumers need to understand dev costs are huge and current pricing is not sustainable for many companies. I think I said last time pretty much all other entertainment deals are gone up and games remain the same. A 39 game should be 68 now based on inflation. That said, needs to be fair. Yeah, 100%. I mean, no, I don't think anyone. Well, I'll take that back. There'll be shitloads of people complaining about it because people are just weapons. Let's be fair. Some people are. Most people will understand that things need to go up in price. People don't want them to. I get that. But when you break it down, most people will understand that things should go up in price, and we are behind the times in terms of games going up in price. But I think a lot of that comes from video game companies, not necessarily video game companies, video game retailers being untransparent. So we've talked about the cost of digital platforms being like monopolized to the point where there is almost antitrust. Yet, what was it, Nintendo? We don't want anyone else to sell our games, so we can make sure they come out at a stupidly high price. And I think
take
that
away third-party consumers, so they have to buy it straight directly from the store.
yeah, I get that. So I think a lot of the people not wanting prices in general to go up will partially be influenced by the fact that digital retailers, and you've got things like Game and whatever, which we've spoken about many times with their ridiculous at-till add-ons and so on that you have to kind of like have or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that hasn't helped the industry as a whole. When people say, okay, we want to pay, games should cost more. They should do. Cinemas cost a stupid amount of money now compared to what they used to do. I mean, stupid is the wrong word. They're expensive compared to what they used to be. But films are more expensive as well. Stupid is definitely the wrong word, because if it's value, you're getting what you're getting. If you want films to be made of really low quality budget sets and stuff like they were made 50 years ago, then go pay 50 years prices. I'll pay today's price to see a product of today's generation. I will pay for a video game that's worth its fee right now. And yeah, people that are against prices going up are people that are against progression. Inflation's going up, so the prices just generally have to go up. The fact that they haven't means we've had a huge step. 100% nailing it on the head, though, is where Adam said it needs to be fair. 100%. Rip Kobe says Chappers, 100%. Pretty sure their Super Duper NBA 2K edition is always the same price. Kobe was always going to be on this. That said, agree. Got the announced percentage but will go to some Kobe related charity. I can see it happening. See, that would be amazing. That would be good.
That would make me change my tune, because it's not 100% profit then, is it? I mean, they will still have to pay for his image rights to be on the game, which will add a few quid or whatever. I just think for me, this is the emotional side rather than the business side. I think if you wanted to honor his legacy in the game and in life, then it would have been best to have him in the standard edition, and you're able to get him straight off the bat if you wanted to use him. Maybe not at his top card. Maybe you can get him. I've never played the Ultimate Team version of it, or My Court or whatever it's called. But yeah, I think if they wanted to have and show the most respect, it would be the cover star of the game in the normal version. From a business standpoint, it does make sense, like you said, to have him as the top dollar. People who haven't bought it for a while and want to try and honor him will pay the full price. But there needs to be something in the middle, because it still doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, I mean, Asim's other comment says, don't forget they'll be paying Kobe Bryant, well, his family now, for rights, so they'll be getting money too. That said, again, right thing to do would be give a percentage of revenue from the member editions charity. I think they will announce or show something around it soon enough. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Is this Tassie Manvir talking? Does he know something that we don't?
To be honest, I should be the cover star. Have you seen me NBA 2K20?
Yeah,
That's true.
His face
That's
scan
true.
is ridiculous.
I know, it's so good. So good. So yes, for those of you that missed it, forgetting about the Mamba bit, the pricing point though is that video games on the next gen in the UK are going to be, if this is an example of things to come, are going to be £65. Which reminds me, I did see. Let me just go off tangent for 1 second. This article, this wasn't in the script, but I've just thrown it in because it continues this point. VG247, after NBA 2K21, more publishers are considering raising game prices to $70 on PS5 and Xbox Series X. Written by Sharif Saeed this morning for VG247. This article does say NBA 2K21 may only be the first AAA game whose base price jumps to $70 on next gen consoles. May only be the first. There we go. That's the way. Anyway, this week, 2K Games revealed new details about the upcoming NBA 2K21. In the press release, the publisher confirmed that the game's standard edition will be priced at $70 on PS5 and Xbox Series X, making it the first AAA game to commit to higher pricing on next-gen consoles. I'm reading this fast because it wasn't in the script, by the way. This doesn't appear to be an isolated decision. According to research company IDG, other publishers are also considering raising the base price of their AAA games to $70, a $10 increase. The last time the next-gen launch software pricing went up was in 2005, 2006, when it went from $49 to $59 at the start of the Xbox 360 and PS3 generation. During that time, the costs and prices in other affiliated verticals have gone up. Osaki explained that the price of admission across other competing industries has risen considerably over the years, but not in video games. The CEO cited cinema ticket prices, Netflix, and cable subscriptions as examples, but neglected to mention that video games have a multitude of other ways to monetize users after the fact, such as DLC, microtransactions, and several other forms of recurring revenue. Even with the increase to $69.99 for next gen, that price increase from 2005 to 2020 next gen is only up 17%, far lower than other comparisons, Osaki went on. While the cost of development and publishing have gone up, and pricing in other entertainment verticals have also gone up substantially, next gen software pricing has not reflected these increases. 59 to 69 does not even cover these other cost increases completely, but does move it more in the proper direction. Osaki, however, doesn't think that $70 will become the new minimum price for every game, just the biggest and highest profile. Indeed, the move is already being considered by other publishers, according to IDG's research. IDG works with all major game publishers, and our channel checks indicate that other publishers are also exploring moving their next-gen pricing up on certain franchises for the same reasons outlined above. Osaki added, not every game should garner to the $69.99 price point on next-gen, but flagship AAAs such as NBA 2K merit this pricing more than others. So there you go. I mean, that's I didn't even know what that article was going to say, but it's pretty good in the fact that it shows that everything else. I mean, Netflix is a really good one. Who pays for Netflix? Not me. But like Netflix started out, what was it, $4.99, and then it was like $7.99, and now was it $9.99? Okay, I don't even know what it was now.
It's because they moved into HD stuff as well, didn't they? So like when Netflix first started, I'm sure a lot of the stuff was standard definition because it wasn't there yet. And Netflix has been going a lot longer than people actually think that people actually remember. So it was a lot of standard definition stuff. But yeah, the price increase now is $7.99.
Even that, so they've added more definition, so they've added more cost. Well, so we should have paid again when consoles hit 4K and gone up from 30 FPS to 60 FPS and stuff like that, and we haven't had those costs.
Yeah.
The good thing within that article, though, that there is a point that we shouldn't forget, is that Netflix, you pay your subscription, but you don't pay to watch individual episodes then of Daredevil or whatever series it referenced that, because I've said it already. Or The Last Dance, you don't have to pay for the 10th episode DLC to see how it finishes or something like that. You don't pay for those extra bits on the side like you get in video games. You don't pay for the loot boxes, lol, like art in video games and so on. You don't have any of that sort of stuff within there to add extra cost on. Video games are raking in the revenues elsewhere, but do we even have loot boxes on the agenda for today, actually? With it being the biggest bit of news that came out yesterday? I don't think we do.
No, we covered it yesterday, didn't we?
What? Just we didn't have it in the scoop, so anyone that just listens to the scoop would miss it. Anyway, we haven't got it on the agenda. We don't really have the time for it either because we're already running up. But loot boxes were banned in the UK yesterday, or at least it was passed that they should be.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know what you mean.
We covered it on the PUBG stuff, didn't we? That's why yeah. So we did speak about this,
yeah.
but we all spoke about it on PUBG stream rather than the scoop streams.
We definitely talked about this yesterday, but then realised it was in your fucking PUBG stream.
So maybe we could jump on it tomorrow or something. I mean, obviously, a lot will probably happen anyway over the next few days, but loot boxes and things are ways for businesses to get more from consumers. And if adding 17% to the pricing gives them a way to get more revenue, then I would much rather that. I'd rather spend $65 on a game and not have a game that has loot boxing systems throughout. I'd rather pay 17% more and have more content within the game in the modes that I want. And we were talking things like, I mean, this is my team in this. I don't know if there's a separate career mode. I'd rather have a more beefed out career mode than it be highly dependent on my team. And if that 17% is going to help with that, then that's fine by me. I'd take that all day. You can't, I mean, you have to break eggs to get omelets. And if that egg is 17%, but the omelet is a better Master League or a better career mode or whatever, then okay, take my 17% egg, whatever. Take it away. They should do what WWE 2K do, because they do a 2K showcase to get the character WWE didn't like that. You had to play the matches, the rest of the fort and all that. So they should do the same thing in NBA. Like you had to play some of Kobe's games what he played in. So yeah, sounds pretty cool. Was that in like WWE 2K20 and things like that to get access to the wrestlers? I haven't played a 2K WWE game since 14. I actually was going to play 2K20, but obviously that wasn't what we wanted it to be. So I probably will play. Is it called Battlegrounds? WWE 2K Battlegrounds, the over the top animation one.
Big fan of that.
I probably will play that. Does look pretty good. It's pretty cool. David says the downside of prices going up is the kids who come from the same sort of background we did are going to be priced out of most games. Like when we got our SNES out of the free ads, we couldn't afford any games at first and just ended up with Crusted Super Fun House that came with it. 100%. Yeah, that's the only one game we had, and it was not very fun. There is a thing like that on NBA 2K, my team, at least they have spotlight moments where you play an initial game to earn a lower version of the card. And by playing moments of their career, you can earn better rewards while also leveling up the player. It's a good idea, and it means that grinding players isn't as tedious as it is in other sports titles. Yes, there we go. Anyway, let's quickly move forward because it's already almost 12:15, so Master of the League is going to be starting late. Do you know what? We will only do one more. We'll jump onto this one because it's always nice to finish on good news. We're talking about prices and stuff going up, but how about prices going down to the level of things being free? Yes. So the final article of the day, written by Stephany for VG247, says that Killing Floor 2, The Escapists 2, and Lifeless Planet will be free next week on the Epic Games Store. This week's free games on the Epic Games Store is Hue. This week's free game even is Hue, which I actually redeemed this morning. So feel free to do the same yourself if you've got the Epic Games Store. But next week, you will receive 3 games for nada. Next week on the Epic Games Store, you will be able to download and keep Killing Floor 2, The Escapists 2, and Lifeless Planet Premier Edition, and you will have between July the 9th and July the 16th to claim the games. If you're unfamiliar with Tripwire Interactive's Killing Floor 2, the game features a version of Europe that has been overrun by murderous clones called Zeds, created by rogue elements of the Horzine Corporation. The game features 6-player co-op and 12-player versus Zed. The most recent update to the game, Perilous Plunder, was released in June and features a new community map, summer Zeds, and brand new Matriarch seasonal summer variants. The Escapists 2 tasks you with trying to break out of prison. As with the real prison, you will need to adhere to prison rules, attend to roll call, do jobs, and follow routines as you work on your escape. You will need to be creative and work with the limited tools at your disposal by combining everyday objects like soap and socks to craft your new weapons and tools. You can even steal forks from the cafeteria to chip a tunnel. Expect 11 prisons, over 300 customizations, multi-story prisons, and more. And then finally, Lifeless Planet Premier Edition is an action-adventure game that finds you searching for life on a distant planet as an astronaut. In the game, you will discover an abandoned Russian town, and you will come into contact with a mysterious young woman who shaves you. She does, but she also saves you from a deadly phenomenon. In it, you will explore 20 environments as you follow the woman who will guide you past dangerous terrain and deadly life forms. This week's free game is Hue, a puzzle adventure where you alter the world by changing its background colour. You will explore a grey land and unearth full fragments as you work to find your missing mother. It features full colourblind support using symbols as a colour aid. It will remain free until July the 9th. So, quick summary of that. Hue, the colour adventure is free right now. And then Killing Floor 2, The Escapists 2, and Lifeless Planet Premier Edition with extra shaving are available from July the 9th. So some games today, some games, one game today, some games next week. Make sure you get the Epic Store, get it installed, and get them for free if you have a PC. If you have, it's just a no-brainer. Even if you're not going to download them and play them now, just get them like you would with your PS Plus. Get your free games. Make sure you do it. And that is it. Like I say, flew through things today to try get through it because of the late start. Want to get things set for Masters of the League. Quick reminder for people though, Ubisoft's new Battle Royale is already Twitch's most watched game, apparently, according to Andy Robinson from VGC. That's talking about Scape, not Space. It's actually not Twitch's most watched game at the moment. It was like 60,000 viewers, whereas it had 500,000 last night. So it was about the sixth most watched game this morning. That could all change. But there you go. PS5 games are looking at £65/$70 as their launching prices for the top end of that. which just shows that the market is normalizing after about 20 years of being left behind. And then finally, Killing Floor 2, The Escapists 2, and Lifeless Planet will be free on the Epic Games Store next week. But that is it. Like I said, we're going to drop off now. We're going to jump back on with our final installment of Masters of the League for this week. It's going to be a doozy. We had our cup run. I was going to say we continued our cup run. No, we had a game, and it's the first time we've ever had the start of a cup run because we had one game in the cup last season and got knocked out straight away. This season, though, we did that. We did very well, got through the first round, and we continue now with some extremely difficult ties. Man City is one of them. If you want to see that, feel free to stick around. This will end. We will go offline. We'll get things in place, then we'll come back on. But before we do that, babe, is there anything you want to throw in?
Yes, of course. Well, I actually just got onto the Epic Games Store to go and try and find Hugh. Found it, but also Trackmania is free. And I know we mentioned that on the scoop a couple of days ago. So that's also free on there. Just scroll down a little bit further on the homepage and it's there too. It's not as the advertised Epic free games. It's just a little bit further down and it's free. So grab that as well because it's a fantastic game. Anyway, back into normal mode. If you do see any video game news that's knocking around the social media platform of your choice, fuck, chat.
Fuck chatbot.
I stand it. Well, I said we're getting back into normal mode. Me not having chatbot open is always going to be the case. But yeah, if you do see any video game news knocking around the social media platform of your choice, then do feel free to get in contact with us. It's at Ice Cream Uploads across absolutely everything. But if you want to know more about what me and Graham are going to be doing with our weekends, then you can find me on Twitter, which is at We've Got Babinho, and then at Graham_Day. You may get some streams this weekend. You are actually getting an extra stream tonight. I will put a social post out later on to say what it is. If you was in the stream at midnight this morning.
Chappers was.
Yeah, Chappers was. You would have seen what it is that I'm going to be starting later on this evening. Well, it's about 5:30 I'm aiming to go live with. So do feel free to follow us on our social media platforms. We'll be tweeting about it after Masters of the League. Obviously, you don't want to be advertising what's coming up later when you've got Masters of the League coming up next. But yeah, feel free to get in contact with us if you have any news stories. The links and everything should be in the chat now. The chat bot is working. So yeah, have a good weekend, guys. And I hope to see you all again very, very soon.
Yeah. So no more scoops this week. We will be back on Monday morning at 10 a.m. With the next episode of The Scoop. Extra content coming throughout the day. It's at least a 3-stream day today. It's probably something over the weekend. But you know, the only way you can find that out is by hitting follow on the channel right here, right now, live on Twitch, and you'll get notified as soon as we go live. Link to the Discord is in the chat as well as all the socials. Feel free to check those out. Oh, actually, one extra link, just because we're both wearing them. There is the link to the Ice Cream Uploads merch store. If you want to wear one of these snazzy jerseys, then feel free to get one. You will see them rocked live on Masters of the League momentarily. But before we do that, we have to wrap things up. So we have to finish before we can start again. So we can do that now. Have yourselves a fantastic, 15 minutes until we see you again. Until then, stay frosty.